Hi, Mikel. Just speaking to David Raya there about the campaign you had last season in the Champions League. What's the feeling coming into this one?
Well, we're excited to start again from scratch in a beautiful place, in a stadium that is going to generate something special. We're looking forward to that, and I'm very excited again to step by step start to build some momentum and start to have some wins.
Can I just ask about a couple of fitness issues you have in the squad? William Saliba trained today, but didn't seem to be. Martin Odegaard, is he available?
No. So Gavi, Kai, Ben, and Martin is still out, unfortunately.
And this season, there seems to be a lot of talk about the way teams are playing, a lot more set pieces, long throws, and maybe a more direct nature in football. Why do you think that is? You're a team that have been taking advantage of those set pieces and throw-ins for a while.
Evolution of the game. The game is faster, the space is smaller, and everybody's trying to take advantages from other aspects of the game that are obviously key, actually, to win football matches. And at the end, you have to dominate nowadays everything in football to give yourself the best chance to win the games.
Miguel from The Independent.
Mikel, you've spoken a lot in the last week about being from the area, how great Bilbao is. You played a minute here as a Real Sociedad player. Do you still kind of feel that, or is there any sense of that whole rivalry coming into this experience for you? And because obviously there's actually quite a strong Real Sociedad contingent.
Yes, of course. We land in Bilbao. That's normally where I land when I go back home to San Sebastian. It's an hour drive from there. All my family is from there. And you just sense the passion, the rivalry, the football atmosphere, and great to be here. Never been in this stadium before, so good experience.
Jordan, Hassan?
Hi, Mikel. Can I just check, has Martin flown out with the team,
No.
or is he back home? He's back home.
Yeah.
Just how important, I know you've spoken about it before this season, but rotation, especially this year in the Champions League, is it a case of we're not going to see the same starting 11 in every game in the Champions League because there's a chance to rotate and give other players a rest and other players a chance?
Yes, well, it would depend on the availability of the squad, the form of the players. Now, unfortunately, we have a few players already out, so that is already limited in certain positions. But hopefully, we come to the point that the competition and the level of performance of the players is that high that we are able to do that very efficiently to win more football matches. That's the objective.
And with Kai and Gabby out, kind of Victor's on his own up there, are you going to have a chance to be able to rest him at all and bring other players into that role? Or do you think he's going to have to leave the line now for a while without a real rest?
Well, let's see it. Against Forest at the end, Mikel played as a 9. We have Leo can play there. We have other options or formations that we can adjust to that. At the moment, Victor is doing really well, so really happy with that.
Isan, Daily Mail.
Hi, Mikel. Do you have any updates on Bukayo Saka, where he is with his injury?
No, I think it's still quite a lot of things to go through. Very early to understand which week he's going to be available, but he will certainly be pushing to be available as quick as possible.
Your team, of course, reached the semi-finals last season in this competition. This time around, with the squad that you've got now, you've haven't spent £250 million and the reinforcements you've got in all positions. Do you now see this as a moment where you can go one step further and possibly get to the final, win the competition maybe? Yeah,
like the rest of the teams that they have done the same and they continue to do that and they've won it in many occasions. That's the aim in the beginning, but we all know that it's going to be a really long journey. The margins in this competition are super small and you have to be at your very best from day one to give yourself the best possible chance. And what in particular did you learn from the competition last season which you're going to take into the competition this time around? That we are good enough, that we can compete against any opposition on the day. And on top of that, that two things have to go your way. You need to have a full squad available when it comes to the most critical moments in the season. And then as well, when the ball has to go in the right moment or with the right decision, it has to be as well because the margins are so small.
Amy, Athletic.
Hi, Mikel. Was part of the strengthening in a lot of numbers this summer down to that feeling when you're in the semi-final and your numbers are short and you think, I don't want to be here next year, where you're struggling to put out your best team when it counts? Well, when we were training, we had 8 or 9 fit players. And we're going to games with 13 players. And at that level, it's extremely difficult. But I think even with that condition, we did really, really well. We gave ourselves an unbelievable chance and we were very unlucky in the semi-final not to get through. David Raya was just here and he was talking about how much it almost seemed to still hurt when he thinks about the semi-final and being in that position. I hate to take you back to that moment, but how much does it drive you to have that experience as a young manager where you get so close to the top of the mountain?
Well, it is that, and that moment you get deflated, and you have to understand what you need to do to put yourself back in the same position and start actions actually that matter to give yourself the chance to achieve that. And that's it. You take a lot of learnings from it. It's painful because it's not only what we feel, it's about the expectation that we created and the real conviction that we had within the club, the team, that we could go all the way because we showed a very high level of consistency and quality throughout the competition, and learn from it and try to be better.
Okay, a couple more in English and we'll go to Spanish questions. George from BBC.
Mikel, hello. Sorry, just the way you've started the season, do you sense from the players that after the hurt of last season, they're ready to win the Champions League? And you mentioned...
But it's not that simple. I mean, you are so willing to do and you want to be better. I sense a very clear intention that they want to be better every single day. And that's the start and the end. And with there is nothing else to control, create the energy, the belief amongst the players, the understanding and the feeling that we can compete against any opposition. And yeah, certainly they have that.
You mentioned about flying into Bilbao, so is all of your family coming to this match tomorrow? Has your phone been pinging?
All of them, no, but a big majority will come, and I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah.
Mark, ESPN.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
You're getting a lot of questions about winning the Champions League, and understandably it's the start of the season, but Arsenal are probably the biggest club that's never won it. Is there a pressure that you feel with that? Because Liverpool won it multiple times, Man United, Chelsea. You want to win it, obviously, but how important is it to win that first one for Arsenal?
Well, that tells you, with our long history, how difficult it is because we haven't won it yet, and that's the opportunity. That's how I see it. You know, the pressure is the opportunity that thrives. That energy, that willingness to be better every single day, to make decisions that are in that direction, and every decision. Then, if we win not that much, every decision has to be with that standards and with those expectations, and let's give our best chance to try to do it.
And do you feel that going close actually helps? I mean, you worked with Pep Guardiola at Man City for a few years when they were knocking on the door. Does that disappointment ultimately help you get over the line?
Yeah, and the big clubs, I mean, they try 7, 8, 9 times, they win 2. So in this competition, it's going to be 1, and you fail much more than you succeed. That's the nature of that. That's the history of our club, and that's what we want to change.
Okay, some questions in Spanish. First, Juan from Marca.
Sí, Mikel.
Yes, Mikel, good evening. An expert coach like Chingurri Valverde, I don't know whether you heard him, said categorically that you're one of the best managers in the world. What do you have to say to that? And 2, 20 years after leaving Real Sociedad, you come back to your country, this one, to compete, I think, for the first time. What do you feel, although you already mentioned it a little bit in English? Well, first of all, I'd like to thank him for his words. For me, he's always been a reference for several reasons. Firstly, because he's been in this profession for over 20 years, and everywhere he's gone, he's left 2 things. First of all, successes in the clubs he worked for, and the mark he made in the way he behaves, the humanity he shows, and now how natural he is in his profession. And above all, I think that there's a way of doing things that puts him apart from many other managers. So what I need to do is learn from him and improve. And the second question, I'm very glad to be back. It's been 20 years since I was here professionally, obviously in a different role, and I very much wanted to come and experience the atmosphere in this stadium, and to face a rival that's going to be very difficult, very demanding, but I'm very excited. Hello, Mikel. I don't know whether the pre-season match is any use in preparing tomorrow's match, or whether there are 2 different moments in the season. No. It was useful to obtain some information and have a good feeling after the match, but we know that tomorrow's going to be a different world. This is the Champions League. The level of both teams will rise, the context will be different, and it's going to be a very different game. and I hope we can get the result we want. Hello, Mikel. Good evening. Rubio from Cadena Cope. I don't know whether you've heard about Lamine injured, Nico injured. You've had 3 players in the Spanish squad. Is it a big bother every time there's a break for the national teams? Well, yes, because we lost 3 very important players. But we've also lost very important players through injuries, and this is part of the normal process, and we just have to try to get these players ready. It's almost impossible to play 64 matches, and that's why all managers and clubs need more players and more resources. Hello, Mikel. Diego González, Cadena SER. I would like to talk a bit about the match. Athletic is going to have a lot of faith in their 15-20 minutes push and pressure, and we'll see later on how they plan the match, whether they play higher or deeper. But what do you expect from Athletic tomorrow? That obviously they'll try to do what they want. And it's an extremely dangerous team when they do that. And at home, they had the capacity to do that in different ways. And we want a very different kind of match to what they want. And as usual, we'll try to diffuse their quality and try to use our best players and play. The key of Athletic is in their high pressure. Where do you think the key is to play your way here in San Mamés? Well, when they do that, get out of that pressure as effectively as possible and to try to use the spaces they use. They change the way they play a great deal, especially depending on the context, the match, and who they're playing against very often. So we have to try to adjust things. We're a very aggressive team, and I hope that it will be a very good match. Yes, Mikel, good afternoon. Javi Beltran, Diario AS. A couple of things. Is Mikel Merino at the best point in his career? And 2, do you think that Valverde is going to feel the absence of Nico Williams very much in the 11? Well, Mikel Merino has been at a very high level for a very long time. But now the transcendence of what he's doing is enormous. His quality, his character, his personality, the variability he gives us, and his performance. And regarding Nico, well, I imagine Ernesto would like to have him, like we would like to have other great players that can't be there tomorrow. But we'll try to do the best we can with the players we have. Javier Ortiz de Lazcano from El Correo, welcome home. In Nico Williams' turbulent summer, was there any interest from Arsenal in signing Nico? Well, I can't say. I can only say that Nico is a great player that you enjoy every week here and in the national team, and I can't say much more.
Thank you. 42 clean sheets in 100 appearances. It's been a great couple of seasons for you at the club, hasn't it?
Yeah, of course. I think it was just on the, or maybe 2 years ago that I made my debut against Everton, and from there it's just been incredible, you know, being part of this football club and having that record as well, and 100 games with 42 clean sheets is incredible. But that just goes to the credit to the team, to the staff, that how hard we work to try and defend us the much better as possible to try and win games.
Reached the semi-finals of the competition last year. What's the feeling like coming into a new campaign in the Champions League? Yeah, we did an incredible campaign last year. We were short. We lost against PSG, the current holders of the Champions League. So we want to aim higher this season, and that's what we want to do. A lot's been made of Arsenal's squad depth, a lot of signings in the summer, and there's also been a signing in your position as well with Kepa. I was just wondering what that has been like with so much quality coming into the squad. Well, the new signings, they have a key role just to improve the squad, to improve the depth, especially what happened last season with the injuries that we had and the depth. It was a little bit short, and then the club did a magnificent job to
recruit a lot of players, really, really good players, and they're going to be a key part of the success of this club.
Now, David, happy birthday.
Thank you.
We mentioned there Kepa coming in. He's the first goalkeeper that's been signed permanently since you were signed. So it's in some ways perhaps more pressure in that position. Do you kind of relish that competition when you've got someone on a similar level or pushing you for that role?
Well, we know we are Arsenal, and competition is all over the place. You always have, and you need competition to take out everything good in each player. And that competition is very, very, very healthy. You know, Kepa and me, we have a really, really good relationship. We know each other from the national team, and it's a pleasure to share the dressing room with him.
Before the Forest game, we heard from Mikel, and he said that he was hammered when he brought you in the sense he was scrutinised, criticised for bringing you in. Do you feel like you vindicated his decision to sign you?
Well, I came here to do a step further on my career, and I think it was the right decision. We know that when I came here, obviously, Aaron was the goalie, and he was playing, and then similar situation and with other keepers that had come to a club to push the other goalie or the other players, and I just tried to do my best on the pitch, off the pitch, and just give the reason to the boss to pick me to play games. So that's what I would like to do.
Hi, David. You grew up in Catalonia, but obviously a lot of your teammates, particularly those from the national team, are from the region and Basque, and especially Real Sociedad. Has there been much discussion about that in the build-up to this game? And like, what are your own kind of impressions of the region's football and the rivalry?
Well, obviously I have a good relationship as well with some teammates in the national team that play here as well. So they know obviously Zubimendi and Merino, they have a relation, like they played in Real Sociedad, so they had that rivalry against Athletic. So we've just been discussing like people that never been here or never heard about the place, how the fans are here and how hectic it's going to be and how noisy it's going to be. So we're looking forward to the challenge. We're looking forward to play tomorrow.
Hi, David. You talk about the depth, it's probably one of the strongest squads that you've ever been a part of. And looking around the rest of Europe, Arsenal seem to have one of the strongest squads in Europe. How much confidence can you take going into that, knowing that you have that power, not just in the starting 11, but on the bench as well, to make the difference? Oh,
it's important. It's really, really important to have that depth. I think there's a lot of talking about, not talking, maybe like statistics about the finishers or the people that come from the bench that change games, and there's a lot. Like the other day, like Leo, first ball he touches, he gets an assist, so they're really, really important. No matter who plays the starting 11 is just every single player that goes into that pitch and he trains with everyone and just push each other. So it's really, really important to have that depth that will make the team and the club better, and that's really, really important to have.
And as you said last season, you were a bit short, so you couldn't maybe rotate as much. Is that, as a team, what you've now got to learn, that you need to rotate and the manager needs to be able to rotate, and it won't necessarily be a consistent starting 11 throughout a whole season?
I leave that to the boss. That's his decision. So, but I think he has a lot of quality players in each position, not just one player or two players in each one position. There's like 5 or 6 players that can play in different positions. So I leave that to the boss.
And just finally, what did you learn personally from last year's Champions League campaign, getting that far and losing out in the semi-finals?
That it hurts a lot, losing in the semi-final. That's one of the things that you learn, but obviously you get more mature. This is the 3rd year in a row that we are in the Champions League. We were in the Champions League for, I think, in 2016, I think it was the last time before this period. So we are so happy to be here. We are so happy to play this competition, and we just have to take it game by game. But it's just incredible to be here, basically.
David, hello. Sorry, just you talk about the pain of losing to PSG in the semi-final, but Arsenal, it feels like you're so close as a team. So is there the belief this season that you're talking in the dressing room about the Champions League and the Premier League? This is your year. You're here to win it this season.
We are. We have belief. We want to win. We are Arsenal, and we play to win. So that's that's not a doubt. That's what we want to do, and that's what we play football for. But right now we are in September. Is a long journey. Is a long season in the Champions League and in the Premier League. So we are just focused on the present, focus on the game tomorrow, and just go step by step.
One thing about Spain is they always produce great midfielders. So Xavi, Iniesta, Rodri, you've played with your national team. What's your first impressions of Zubamendi in an Arsenal shirt, please?
He's incredible. Obviously, I've shared dressing room in the national team, and now that he's here, he's even surprised me even more. So he's a player, very, very intelligent. He knows how to play for the team. He doesn't play for himself, and his positioning defensively and attacking is incredible. So it's a pleasure to have him.
Yes, sir.
Hi, David. Obviously, when you first joined Arsenal, there were a few tricky moments at the very beginning, and then you've obviously overcome that to win Golden Gloves, and the rest speaks for itself. How did you overcome those tricky periods at the start, and was there times where you actually felt the noise and pressure, or did you always assume that it'd get to this point that you're at now?
Well, we obviously when I came to Arsenal, there was a lot of noise, of course. There was a lot of talk outside and everything, and it's understandable. Having Aaron is a hell of a keeper, and from nowhere just get changed. Obviously, the media is going to be noisy, and there was a few games where I could have done better. Like everybody has bad games, and the noise was starting to get a bit bigger. So I just had to focus on myself, focus on what I can control and what I cannot control, and the things I can control is on the pitch. Off the pitch, I just try to be deaf, basically, not to listen anything about what's happening. I just focus on my football, on and off the pitch. So that's what I did, and just believe in myself. And I think like you said, the 2 years that I've played for Arsenal has been incredible, and I'm looking for more.
You're now obviously one of the top goalkeepers in the Premier League. I know the top goalkeeper's just arrived, Gianluigi Donnarumma. You played against him obviously last season against PSG, and he pulled off a variety of good saves. Obviously, you play City next weekend. How good of a goalkeeper is he, and what did you obviously notice about him when you played against him?
Well, if you've seen the game yesterday, that's your answer there. You know, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to settle into a club and into a league, and then he played the first game yesterday, and it's like he's been here for so many years, and that tells you what type of goalkeeper he is, how good he is, and the experience that he has. So it's so good to have those type of keepers in this league, and playing against those keepers is a challenge, and boy, it's a joy to play against. He's one of the best in the world. He showed it last season. For me, it was very determinant for PSG last season that I gave them the Champions League. So just happy to have him in the Premier League, and looking forward to play against him.
Hello, is it David or David? I've gone through this so many times.
I don't mind.
Depending on which country you're in. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
There's an increasing Spanish influence in the dressing room. It seems every transfer window that goes by, as well as obviously having manager and coaching team from Spain, there's more and more players coming from Spain, and also Spanish-speaking countries like in Nketiah, for example. Can you explain what sort of special qualities you think maybe come from the Spanish culture of football or mentality that you think can help in a dressing room like Arsenal's?
I think like the type of players that we have, they're very, very intelligent. They read the game very well. They know what, on each situation, what the game needs. For example, Mikel Merino, he can play in so many different positions that he understands a lot the game, and he tries to help the team as much as possible. Same with Zubimendi, and we know that there's been more players from Spain, especially when I arrived. I was the only one, and 2 years later we signed a few more players from Spain. But no, it's a joy to have them on board, especially they're so good on the ball and off the ball, and on the pitch and off the pitch. So I think that's one of the treats that we have.
From the communication point of view within the dressing room, do you sometimes find yourself it would be natural to sort of speak a bit of both with the Spanish guys, or is there a kind of need to try and speak English?
We speak whatever on the pitch, I think, whatever comes to our heads, and we have a lot of players down there, not just the Spanish boys that speak Spanish. There's a lot of players that they speak Spanish, and there's a lot of Spanish going on in training and outside, and I think it's something that for people that don't speak English, that they're learning English now, I think the adaptation is a bit quicker. So that's really good from the team and from the players.
I think particularly with, for example, Mosquera and Hincapié, that's going to be really helpful for them in their adaptation process. Yeah, that's going to be very important. I think it's a key moment for them to learn English as quick as possible, but to have that assurance that it goes to the pitch without not understanding anything. So that's something that is going to be very, very important for them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions in Spanish? Okay, those two, please.
Hello, David. Happy birthday. I've just seen it's your birthday. I don't know whether, as a Spanish player, playing in the Champions League and playing in San Mamés is special for you. It was one of the Spanish stadiums that I've always enjoyed playing in. And what I talk about with my teammates, or with Unai, with Nico, with Thubi, with Merino, people that have played in Spain know that it's an incredible stadium. The people, the fans, the pressure. It's always been a stadium that I've enjoyed playing in, and I'm looking forward to getting on the pitch tomorrow. Hello, David. Again, congratulations, and I would like to ask you what the ex-Real Sociedad players have said, Zubimendi, Merino and Arteta, about what the atmosphere is going to be like tomorrow in San Mamés. We know that it's going to be a very good atmosphere. We know that the fans are incredible, and there's going to be a lot of pressure from the beginning or from the time we're warming up. And that's what we're here for. We play for the fans, so I'm very much looking forward to playing tomorrow, and very excited. I'm excited to be here, and also to start the Champions League with this match. Good morning, Javier Ortiz Lazcano from Correa. Happy birthday, Sorionak, as we say in Basque. The two top Spanish goalkeepers will be here tomorrow. Have you discussed the match, and what do you think of Unai as a goalkeeper? Well, we played against each other in the pre-season, and now we're going to be playing against each other in the Champions League. We haven't talked too much about it, but as a goalkeeper, there's no need for me to say what I think about him. He's an amazing goalkeeper. He's a guarantee both here and in the national team. He's incredible. It's a pleasure to be able to share the dressing room with him in the national squad, and it'll be a pleasure tomorrow to be on the pitch with him.